Hi everyone, today I'm going to showcase a must-try street food from the Sicilian culture, panelle. A delicious vegan appetizer which is made out of chickpeas flour cooked in salted water set fried into super crunchy nibbles which will blow your mind. The inspiration of this dish came finding beautiful commonalities of ingredients and cooking steps with the falafel that Sarah prepared in the previous episode. So without further ado, let's get busy in the kitchen and we'll come back to the history of this dish later on during the video. Let's prepare the panelle mix. Start putting the water in the pot followed by the chickpeas flour a bit at a time, stirring vigorously to avoid any lumps. It has an excellent nutrient profile than refined flour as it provides more vitamins, minerals, fiber and protein but fewer calories and carbs. Here I use ground flour. It's a pulse flour made from ground chickpeas. Now let's add salt and pepper, give it a stir. Then brush a rectangular mold or pot with some oil to make demolding the mix easier. Now finally chop some parsley and leave it aside. We are gonna add it to the mix at the very end, not to be cooked. Set the pot over medium heat and keep stirring until it starts to thicken up. Ground flour is a staple ingredient in the cuisine of the Indian subcontinent, where it is used to make a variety of snacks like papadums. In bread, pastry and cake products, the functional pulse flour offers better hydration and improves softness while nutritionally enriching the products. As you can see, the mixture has been thickened into a paste and ready to put the parsley in. Give it another stir, then put it into the mold. You can also use a baking tray lined with cling film if you don't have a mold. Leave the mixture with the spatula, covering it with cling film, then push it down as much as you can to remove air pockets. Let it cool down, then leave it in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours, or it's even better to prepare it a day in advance. Now let's prepare the starter dough for the Mafalda bread. Start by mixing fresh yeast in tepid water, then add the bread flour. This is known in Italy by biga. Not only gives strength to weak flours, but also produces a secondary fermentation which gives a wonderful aroma to the final loaves of bread. I would suggest you make it a day before, kept in fridge. Then get it off the fridge the next day and bring it back to room temperature before using it. And for the Mafalda bread, mix water, yeast and honey together, then stir it in the semolina flour along with the starter dough I made yesterday. Start mixing them together for 10 minutes until fully incorporated. Mafalda is a durum wheat-based bread. The name also refers to its classic serpentine shape. In Sicily, bread is everything. Of all the different forms of bread, most known and popular in Sicily is la Mafalda. It certainly stands out being produced all over the region. In the peasant culture of pre-industrial Sicily, the real man was who ate homemade bread obtained by the sweat of his own brow. Keep kneading the dough until it reaches a very smooth consistency. Durum and semolina flours are coarser than bread flour, giving the bread a rustic texture and a slightly sweet and nutty flavor. If you don't have durum or fine semolina flour, you can substitute it with bread flour. Of course, it won't taste the same, but it will still be very good. After 10 minutes of kneading, add the salt to your dough and knead it for another 10 minutes. Shape it into a ball and then leave it in an oiled glass bowl covered with cling film for about 20 minutes to proof. After 20 minutes, start dividing the dough into equal pieces. Take each piece of the dough and roll it into a long rope. Then copy me, as I obviously don't know how to explain the next few steps. This rustic sesame seed encrusted bread can be formed into other shapes as well, such as baguettes, baston, or the popular scrolled eyes of Santa Lucia. Don't forget to pinch the rope at the very end to keep it all together and not to open up as it proves. Spray them with some water so the sesame seeds you are going to sprinkle stick to the dough. Cover them with cling film and leave them to proof for 1 hour or until they double in size. Peel off the skin of one big lemon with a paring knife. Remove the whole segments and cut it in chunky pieces. This naturally sugary variety of lemon is called sfusato, meaning spindle for its tapered shape. The Amalfi lemon's distinctive flavor has influenced the region's cuisine and drink for centuries. Lemons are a way of life in Amalfi. Their citrus aroma fills the air. They're eaten at almost every meal, and they speckle the country with the bright spots of color. Add a sprinkle of sea salt flakes and stir. Then add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, then stir again and leave it to infuse. After 1 hour, the dough has doubled up in size and it's time to be cooked. Bake them in a preheated oven on 220 degrees Celsius with a tray filled with boiling water at the bottom to add moisture to the bread for the first 10 minutes. Then take the water tray off the oven and continue cooking on 195 degrees for another 10 minutes. Can you see? They are perfectly cooked. Take them off the oven and leave them to cool down. Take the panelle dough out of the fridge and demold it with the help of an oiled spatula on a piece of parchment sheet. Oil a sharp knife so the dough doesn't stick to it and cut it into 1 cm or your preferred thickness. In Sicily, they cut it very thinly, but I like mine thick to get a creamy inside texture like falafel. If you make this recipe, you will notice that the dough is just set and not very hard. This will give the panelle a lighter and crispier texture. Put the pieces you cut on an oiled plate covered with cling film. Then deep fry them in sunflower oil until golden and crispy. You can always half fry the panelle and store it in the freezer and fry them whenever you want. Put the fried panelle on a wire rack or a big metal sieve so they wouldn't get softer at the bottom and remain crispy for a longer time. Stuff the Mafalda bread with hot, crunchy panelle. Sprinkle sea salt flakes, season with some chunky lemons and parsley, and enjoy the music.
The bread, the lemon on top, make the balance. See this, guys? Come. See this? Heaven.
Panelle or panetti, these Sicilian fritters made out of chickpeas flour mainly, are the most popular street food in Sicily all the way to Palermo, and they are often eaten in between slices of bread, like the Mafalda bread that we did earlier, sprinkled with cimino, which means sesame seeds in Sicilian dialect. So it seems incredible that more than 1,000 years has passed since they were invented. The Arab rulers of Sicily, expert gastronomers in between the 9th and 11th centuries, they start to grind those chickpeas into flour, cooked it with water, and they toasted it over a fire. Now, this toasted version of panella was still not very pleasant at the time. The frying step of panelle came during the late Middle Ages at the court of the Angioini family, this medieval dynasty which apparently used to consume and enjoy a lot these fritters and also serve it for the enjoyment of their guests as an aperitif at their banquets. In the city of Palermo, therefore, the first panella was invented by common people just to feed themselves. So in the past you could have spotted an iconic figure of the Sicilian culture, which is the panellaro, walking in the streets and corners of Palermo with his wooden shack closed on 3 sides to cover basically the pot full of oil from the wind, and a display already with panelle fried and this tin full of salt. So nowadays you can pretty much find panelle everywhere in Sicily, and they're usually served along with other type of fritters like arancini di riso, which I'm sure you know a bit about, and crocchette di patate. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my version of the Italian falafel. We are in a country where you love a lot of fish and chips. I would relate as a kind of a texture.
Like
the vegan
fish and chips.
The vegan fish and
done.
chips,
Yeah.
I would say. So just give it a try.
So guys, he's talking, okay? Hi, ciao, ciao. I'm just finishing my food.
Yeah guys, I just wanted to thank you for the support that you have showed to us so far, and just to remind you to please subscribe to our channel if you continue to like us, and like our videos, share it, and please do support us on Patreon. We just put a link below the description where you can go and check out our space, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
See you next time.
I'm just busy.
Bye
Ciao.
bye. Panelle or panelli? Ai felici.
Me too.
They came during the Middle Age. Late Middle Age. So figure, yeah? Figura.
Figure.
Figure. Figure qua.
Like finger. Figure.
Figure. Personalities